Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scarlett's Desk 365. Today is Tuesday, August the 2nd, 2016. And today is kind of a general video in about relationships. And there is something that's really been confusing the hell out of me. And so I want to ask you, how in the hell does your partner, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it may be, your spouse, how in the hell are you supposed to know what this person wants or needs when you're never told? You know, when you see your partner and you can just feel that something's not right, and you can just feel that that something's heavy on their mind, and you go through long periods of time asking, hey, are you okay? What's wrong? And you're lied to multiple occasions throughout multiple years of your relationship. And it just aggravates the crap out of me. You know, it's like somebody getting mad at you and won't tell you what they're upset about, and you rack your brain and you rack your brain trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But instead of telling you what it is that's bothering them, what they think or feel you did or didn't do or did say or didn't say, instead of you know letting you know so that you can defend yourself or apologize, or you know whatever the case may be in that given situation. But instead they just kick you to the curb, you know and a person, to me, should not ever be mad at another person whenever they have not given that person the information in which that person needs to be able to perform the task, the duties, the words, the phrases, whatever the situation may be. Um, for an example, you know, if somebody sends you to the store and to get a gallon of milk, and then you come home with that gallon of milk, and then they're pissed off and won't talk to you for several days because you didn't get cookies as well. But yet they never said anything about cookies in the first place. So, in my mind, don't you think that they should be mad at themselves and not mad at you for not bringing something that you had no idea that they wanted you to get? And it's the same exact thing in the day-to-day relationships, whether it be between parents and children, or children and parents, husbands and wives, wives and husbands, boyfriends and girlfriends, or whatever. You know, it's just, it's a horrible, horrible thing for anyone to do to get up and walk out and say, screw this relationship, without ever standing up for what they want. Even if you think that it's going to cause an argument, or if you think that somebody's going to get mad or angry or whatever, fuck that shit. You know, stop blaming the other person for not making changes in their life when you never said anything in the first place. It just makes absolutely no sense, you know. And, you know, you have to stand up and you have to say, you know, I really don't like that you're doing this, or I don't like what you're saying, or you know, this really makes me feel bad when you do this, or when you say that, or when you don't do this or don't do that, or whatever it may be, you know. But you can't sit there in a relationship rightfully and rightfully, excuse me, and have the and be in the right mind to say, I've had enough of this, and then just walk out with not giving the other person the opportunity to make a change, or to do or to not to do, or to say or not to say whatever it is that is bothering you, you know. And so if something is bothering you, you have the right to say how you feel. And if what is bothering you hurts the other person in which you are talking to, or offends that person, they have the right as a human being to be hurt or upset about what you told them. Doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean you're right. It doesn't mean anything except for humans get upset. We have hearts, we have minds, and we think and feel on our own. But if you never ever stand up and say, this is how I feel about a particular situation, a particular, whatever it may be in the relationship, how can you expect that other person to understand what it is that's bothering you? So if you want a relationship to work, you have to communicate. You can't bitch if you don't stand up and say, well, I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen to me. You know, you can't, you know, and just because a person doesn't listen to you the first time you say something doesn't mean that you give up. It doesn't mean that you just let it go and just say fuck it and just accept what it is that's bothering you. You know, that's got to be it's got to be one of the most ignorantest things, if that's even a word, that I've ever heard of in my life. You know, is how in the world do you expect your partner to be in harmony with you if you lie your ass off to that person? That person loves you enough to say, hey, are you okay? What's wrong? I can see something's on your mind. What's wrong? Tell me what's going on. And then you turn around and you lie about it, then you forfeited your right to be angry. You can't lie in a relationship and expect the other person to understand what the heck you are going through. And it ticks me off that nobody gives a crap about what the other person feels until they don't get what they want. You know, And let me tell you something, the relationship I just got out of, okay, that person can never, ever say that I ever lied to her. Nor can she ever, ever rightfully say that I did not communicate with her. Because I communicated everything in my heart, in my mind, in my soul about everything that I felt, everything that I was going through. But you know what? She never gave that in return, ever. No matter how many times I would ask or anything. But you know, there was some times whenever I would already be upset about a situation, you know, and then she would uh, try to throw something in there that didn't even have a damn thing to do with the conversation at hand, and she knows that all that would do was just upset the situation altogether. So, you know, I'm like, well, you know, and I told her many, many times, I said, uh, if you need to talk to me about something, you need to tell me about something. All you have to do is say, hey, Scarlett, I need to talk to you. What is so goddamn hard about that? Just please, please help me understand that. And you would think after a 10-year period, you know, in a relationship, that a person would at least try to communicate, you know, and instead of just leaving the other person just stuck out, you know, and then hurting that person and making everybody around believe that 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 the person you left is the problem. You know, I'm not perfect by any means, but I damn sure communicated how I felt. I damn sure communicated about what I went through, what I was going through on a daily basis. You know, with my transitioning and you know the things that happened to me when I was growing up that I kind of still deal with from time to time. You know, so you know being transitioning is a lot, and there's a lot to take on. You know, and on numerous occasions, many occasions in the past 10 years, I have tried my best to find out what was going on in her mind, you know, how she felt about, you know, um, the type of work that I did, and you know, and the whole situation in our life, and you know, and just not too long ago, you know, I said, does it bother you that that I don't have like a 9 to 5 job, you know, and her words were that no, you work your butt off, and I am proud of the work that you do, you know. So these are her words, not mine, you know. And then bam, she just ups and leaves me, you know, and says, well, um, you know, after uh, you know 10, 11 years um, that enough was enough and she had to go, you know. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, really? You know, uh, if there was something that she wanted me to change, or something that needed to change within our relationship, or she needed um, to be with a man rather than a transgender person, or if she just needed to be alone, she damn well never communicated that to me. So how the hell was I supposed to know? How the hell was I supposed to go, uh, what can I do to change this? What do I need to do to make you feel better, or to make you happy, or whatever? You know, I never got that opportunity. And now, after I put my heart and soul into, you know, uh, 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 showing her that I love her and that I care about her and that I wanted to spend my life with her, and that I wanted to share my whole life with her, Everything that I did in my life involved this person. Everything. No matter what it was, because she was my partner, she was my love, that that I felt like that it was my responsibility to let her in on what was going on within myself. I don't know, maybe it was too much, maybe the the transitioning and everything that we were going through, maybe everything that I was going through, maybe that was 2 months for her. Okay, you know, I can understand that, you know. Uh, but she's the one that helped me transition. She was the one that was there for me, through the tears and through the humiliation and stuff that I would go through in public with other people, and she went to my groups and she went to counseling and stuff with me, and she was there for everything. And I tried my damnedest to be there for this person. I tried my damnedest to let her know that I was there for her. You know, Sometimes late at night on Friday night, real late at night, we would go down by the water and I would just talk about how I felt, about the things going on in my life, and I would try to ask her, but the only thing that I ever really got from her was agreement. There was no real discussion. There was no real bouncing back and forth ideas of what we could do and what would make things better. I would always get answers like, well, I'm not a counselor. I don't know how to help you. And so, that would hurt me, you know. But I let it go because I know she's not a counselor, and I know that she don't she didn't know anything about the transgender life whenever I met her, but she was very accepting once she understood what was going on. At least that's what she said, you know, and she treated me, as though she agreed with me, that she really loved me for who I am, and she really wanted to be with me and spend the rest of her life with me, and you know, and and just a couple of months ago, I said, "So when are you leaving?" And her exact words was, "I'm not leaving you. You are stuck with me for the rest of your life. If anybody leaves, it's going to be you." Okay. So again, another lie, because I found out through the grapevine that she had already been planning to leave. You know, and I'm like, so here you are. I've been asking this person what is wrong, what is going on, what is she thinking about, because I could feel it in my heart and in my soul, in the back of my mind. I just knew that something was not right, And I kept asking and I kept asking and I kept asking and never got anything, anything other than, oh, it's just, work, because we have a lot of work going on at work, and I got a lot of lists that I have to do at work, and you know, and so I'm like, well, I can't make her tell me, I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make it drink, you know, and so that's what I've been going through, for 10 and a half years. And she used to tell me, I've never had anybody that would stand up for the relationship until you're the only person that's ever stood up and wanted to fight for the relationship. But then she never would fight for the relationship. She never one time ever fought for this relationship, ever. She never stood up and said, "Oh, I feel this way," or "I feel that way," or anything. You know, she had no reason whatsoever to fear telling me how she felt. But that's what she would tell you. You know, I'm like, yeah, it might upset me, but I have a right as a human being to be upset that you have this feeling about me or towards me or whatever, you know so allow me to be a human being, and allow me to work through that, and and allow me to look at myself if that's the problem, and whatever the problem is or whatever's on her mind. I never had a chance to 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 look at that and and understand, so I could either make changes in my life or help her make a change in her life, or whatever it is that she needed. I never had that chance. Never. Because she would always lie. It was always, you know, that it was always work, or she didn't feel good, or she ate something that was bad. And so I'm like, okay, you know, and she, it just made no sense. And I'm really saying all this tonight because I want other people, excuse me for my nose, I want other people to understand that if you want your relationship to work, you got to open your damn mouth. You got to say how you feel about whatever is going on. But don't come out and wait until the fire's already burning and then throw fuel on the fire and then expect to be able to get flowers, because it's not going to happen. You know, you have to stop and say to yourself, how is my spouse supposed to help me make a difference so that we both can be happier, so I can be happier? How can my spouse be able to do that if I don't communicate to that person how I feel? Or to your mom, or to your dad, or to your daughter, or to your son. How in the world can you throw fuel on their little fire that's going on in their life, or their big fire, whatever it may be, and expect them to just be happy about it? And I'm going to tell you that the longer you go without communication, the longer you go, and this is 100,000% experience, the longer you go without communicating and telling that loved one just how you really feel, the bigger the explosion's going to be whenever you decide you've had enough. The bigger, when I say explosion, I'm referring to the worse everybody's going to feel. The heartache is going to be worse. The feelings towards one another is going to be worse, and there's going to be blame and stuff like that. So you can stop all that by just communicating, just by talking to the person that you say I love and I want to spend my life with you. Just by saying, you know what, I need to talk to you. And pour your heart out and pour your mind out and what you're feeling and what you're going on. Even if you got to write it down, even if you got to put it in a letter, okay? Even if you got to make a recording like I'm doing tonight to communicate to that person that it doesn't have to be that way. If both two people in some type of relationship wants to make a lifelong go of a relationship just for one another, you got to communicate. And I'm going to tell you, the 10 and a half years that I just went through, the reason why it's over is because of lack of communication. And so if you can't stand up, if you don't have the kahuna, so to speak, to stand up and say, this is how I feel, this is what I need, whatever, then you don't have a right to be mad about it. Okay? If you're doing 85 miles an hour in a 50-mile-an-hour zone, you have no right to be mad at the police officer for pulling you over. Okay? So it's the same thing in the relationship. You can't be mad if you're not going to stand up and say, this is how I feel, this is what I want, this is what I need. whatever. You, like I said, you got to write it down. You got to put it in a letter. You got to, you got to, whatever. Record it. Whatever you got to do to convey how you feel. Because I know some people don't really care to talk in front of other people, and some people are afraid, or some people's embarrassed, or just don't know how to say. Man, put it in a letter. You know, just put it in a letter, or put it on a recording. Get you a little recording device and go for a walk, and just talk about how you feel, and then let the other person hear it. You know what I'm saying? There are ways to communicate, but it's wrong whenever you don't communicate, and you don't give the other person the chance to even make a change or make a difference in that person's life, or whatever it is that needs to be done to make both sides happy. Then then you have no right to go out and make other people believe that it was the other person's fault. You know, I'm not saying whatsoever that I was faultless in this relationship, because I'm a human being. We make mistakes. We have bad decisions. That's who we are as human beings in the world. But you know what? One thing I did do is communicate, but I never got it in return. So I'm saying to all you lovebirds out there, and I'm saying to all you moms and dads, and I'm saying to all you daughters and sons, you need to communicate with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. You need to communicate, and not in an angry way. You know, you need to communicate to preserve that relationship. You know, and mom, dad, if your child turns out that they're gay, or they're transgender, or they're different in some sort of way, it doesn't change who they are, and it shouldn't change how you feel, because they're still beautiful people. They still need love. They still need caring. They still need to be nurtured. They still need to be taught in how to live their life. Parents, stop kicking your kids to the curb. Stop treating them like they're different. Just, you don't have to treat them any different. Just love them for who they are, and not for who you expect them to be. Because 99 times out of 100, a child is going to be what they want to be, and not what you want them to be anyway. So why put them through the hell in the first place? Because when you put them through hell trying to force them to be something they're not, or trying to force them to be in a profession that they don't want to be in, you're making two different people suffer. So again, my name is Scarlett at Scarlett's Desk 365. I love y'all, and I know this video is almost 30 minutes long, but I think I had a lot to say, and I think that what I said tonight will help a lot of people if you will just hear the message about communication, and about love, and about caring, with your heart and not with your mind, because there's a big difference, okay? And you may not like the response that your other significant other gives you, but one thing is that the result of it should come out to being a positive result if you both work at it and you both care. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'm signing off for now, and I will post this video, and I hope I get many, many comments and feedback. You're welcome, and I'll be more than happy to talk with anybody about their the issue that they have in their relationship, or whatever it may be. So good night for now, and hope you have a wonderful morning.